A public school teacher and the ACLU are challenging a new Indiana law banning the teaching of human sexuality. The federal lawsuit claims that law violates her First Amendment right. It also says the bill is too broad and impossibly vague. Our Connor Steffen explains the new legal challenges ahead.
Signed by Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb back in April, HEA 1608 now faces legal challenges before it's set to take effect July 1st. The ACLU of Indiana announced Friday it filed a lawsuit on behalf of Indianapolis Public Schools teacher Kayla Smiley. It claims the law is overly broad and violates Smiley's First Amendment rights. The provision bars teachers from providing instruction on human sexuality to pre-K students through third graders. However, teachers are allowed to answer questions about human sexuality if asked by a student. But the suit explains the law doesn't define instruction or human sexuality, meaning Smiley is unable to determine how to act so she doesn't get in trouble with the law.
It's a name! You guys are fighting over kids' names!
The law also requires schools to notify a parent if their child requests to go by a different name or pronouns in school.
I think we've kind of gone backwards in acceptance and inclusion.
Zoe O'Halen-Byrne is the Director of Engagement for Indiana Youth Group,
A nonprofit organization that serves LGBTQ plus young people.
Byrne said IYG is seeing more and more young people seeking its support. In fact, in the last 6 months alone, she said the group's seen a 300% spike in people at its center. In Louisville, Connor Steffen, WHAS11 on your side.
Well, here in Kentucky, the ACLU is currently challenging the part of the state's law that would ban gender-affirming care for minors and revoke the license of doctors who provide it. Last week, Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed a brief defending the bill. He said the legislation protects children from irreversible effects of unnecessary and experimental medical intervention. The ACLU has asked for an injunction to block this law while the lawsuit plays out in federal court. A Metro police officer was injured in a foot chase last night, but he is expected to be okay. The person he was chasing behind bars charged with assault. Police said it happened around 9:30 last night on Preston Highway. A 7th Division officer was chasing the suspect wanted for assault when police say the officer fell while scaling a fence. He was treated at the hospital. The suspect later arrested. We are working to learn more about that suspect, including his name and any additional charges. The case of a man accused of killing his own mother in 2018 is now in the hands of Kentucky's top law enforcement officer. The family of 42-year-old Gavin Perkins raised safety concerns last week after receiving news he would be released from a psychiatric facility over the weekend. That was due to his court-ordered stay at Central State Hospital set to expire. The Jefferson County Commonwealth's attorney filed an emergency petition Thursday to extend his hospitalization, but that was denied. Perkins' family believes he's a dangerous risk to the public.
If you're willing to take your loving mother's life, whose life would you not be willing to take?
Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear also said he and the Commonwealth's attorney agreed to refer that case to the Kentucky Attorney General's office at the request of Perkins' family. Right now, it's not clear if Perkins has already been released from the institution or if the Attorney General's takeover changes that. We did reach out to Central State Hospital and the AG's office for an update.
Forte coming out the outside. Second contact absolutely. He couldn't do it. Archangel has won it. Getting ready to.
All right, we knew there would not be a Triple Crown this year, but the final race still made some history. On the final turn of the Belmont, Arcangelo took a commanding victory over the favorite Forte, and that means Jenna Antonucci is now the first female trainer to win the Belmont Stakes in its 155-year history. Well, in the shadows of the big race day, another horse death at the track. According to New York's Racing Association, Manchee Girl suffered a catastrophic leg injury and was euthanized. Authorities are investigating. This marked the 4th death at the Belmont Park this season and the 2nd horse death in a 24-hour period. Both Churchill Downs and Pimlico also faced horse fatalities, underscoring the risks in this sport. A job fair happening right now hopes to reignite the downtown workforce. Greater Louisville Inc. is partnering with the Louisville Downtown Partnership and Kentucky Performing Arts. More than a dozen companies are there right now. Here's our Jim Stratman.
Louisville leaders say that they want to revitalize the downtown area. In a post-COVID world, there aren't enough people coming back to work downtown, and that's causing a problem for businesses, and it could be causing an issue for the city as a whole. I was able to speak with Christian Adelberg, who's the Vice President of Marketing and Communication for Kentucky Performing Arts. KPA is partnering with the Greater Louisville Incorporated and the Downtown Louisville Partnership to put on this job fair at the Kentucky Center a little bit later on this morning. Adelberg told me that the downtown is kind of like the heartbeat of the city, and here in Louisville, that heartbeat just isn't consistent.
Downtown Louisville, downtown anywhere, is a key economic driver. It's a key driver for cultural activity, and the more people there are downtown, the more thriving any downtown is going to be. And a big part of that is the workforce, people who are working downtown day in and day out. That feeds the larger ecosystem.
And more than a dozen downtown businesses are at today's job fair. TARC, Norton Healthcare, LMPD, and Kentuckiana Works are just a few of the ones set up at the Kentucky Center for Performing Arts. The job fair runs until 2 o'clock today.